Hello, Physics 277 students and anyone else out there on YouTube who may have encountered these videos and may be watching. This is part 3 in our series of editing files on Linux systems using the GNU Emacs editor. And we're going to continue where we left off in video 2. If you haven't seen video 1 or video 2 yet, I'll put links to them and cards here that you can look for. Click on to watch those videos first. I highly recommend you watch those first before watching this. So last time we covered a few things. We talked about syntax highlighting and how Emacs works when it works on when you're editing source code files. And we're going to continue talking about things related to that today. So let me start up Emacs with the Hello World Fortran program, which I wrote last time. And here we are. We can see the syntax highlighting there. And I want to talk a bit about some more features. And I'm going to start with the mode line down here, this gray bar down here at the bottom. It tells us quite a bit of information. Some of it's fairly obvious. For example, we can see that we're editing a file hello_world.fo8. And we also talked about last time the F90 mode here, which is a mode that is designed to work with Fortran source code in modern form. But there's also some other things here that are very, very useful that are indicated on this mode line. One of them is this UU over here, and this is actually probably the least useful thing about the mode line. This UU over here indicates that the characters here are encoded in the file in what is called Unicode format. We're probably not going to have to worry about that, and we'll talk a bit about that later in the course, but that's what that UU means. What's really interesting, though, is this colon here that is just to the right of the UU and 2 dashes to the right of that. These indicate whether or not the file has been saved since last change. Let me illustrate that. Let me insert a couple spaces here into this line. You notice now down to the right of the colon here, we see 2 asterisks. That indicates there has been a change to the file since the last save. Now, if I now proceed to save this file by typing Control X and then Control S, that will change back. Not only did it write down here in the mini buffer that we wrote the file out, but the 2 asterisks here change back to dashes. So that indicates whether or not your file has been saved since it has been last changed. Let's make a change again. I'll delete those 2 blank spaces I just entered, and there we have 2 asterisks again indicating that there's a change that hasn't been saved here yet. So you might want to go ahead and basically save that by typing Control X, Control S. Remember, one of the things I talked about that's a very important habit to get into is frequent saves when you're editing files. Now, Emacs is actually doing saves behind the scenes, but sometimes it can be kind of difficult to recover from those if the editor crashes while you are editing, or if for some reason you get disconnected. In many cases, if you're connecting in via SSH or some other mechanism over the internet in order to edit a file, if something interrupts that connection, your changes may not be saved. So it's a very good idea that you should make frequent changes. Every few lines of code you enter, you should save. It only takes a split second to type Control X, Control S, and that change is saved. It's not like having to do things with a menu-driven system where you have to put your hands on the mouse, pull down a menu, look for save. You can just type Control X, Control S, and be done with it. Okay, so this is another feature of the mode line here. One other thing that is very interesting, we talked about this last time, is I move around here by typing Control N, Control P here. You can see that to the right of this word all, and we'll talk about what all means in a bit, is this L2. It indicates what line the cursor is on. So if I hit Control N and move down a line, it says L3, Control N again, L4, Control N again, L5, or if I Control P. So this is useful because it tells you what line you're on. It would be also very useful to be able to know what column the cursor is on. Right now, as I move back and forth, left and right here, I can type Control F to move forward, or Control B to move backward, or I could use the arrow keys here to move forward or move backward. It doesn't tell me what column things are in. So it would be very nice if basically there was a mechanism to do that. So we introduced the meta key last time, and we're going to introduce another command here that can be entered down in the mini buffer here. So let's do escape X, that is meta X, to get down to the mini buffer. And I'm going to enter the command here, column number, I mean, mistyped here, column number mode. All right. And when I hit that, it's going to toggle things. So now down here on the mode line, it displays both the line I'm on and the column I'm in. It's saying 3-9 here, meaning I'm on line 3, column 9. If I move to the right using Control F, you can see that 9 changes to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. If I Control B back, if I do Control P to move up, it's 2, Control N to move down, it changes. So that's a very useful feature to have when you're debugging, because oftentimes the compiler will tell you, you have a syntax error in your file at basically line 3, column 15. And you'll want to be able to diagnose where that is. And this is a very, very useful feature to be able to see this information on the mode line. Okay, we're going to talk about what the all means in just a minute, but in order to enable that, we're first going to switch and talk about something else that's very important in Emacs editing, which is cutting and pasting. What if I want to get rid of this line, hello world? How would I do that? Well, I could sit there and hold down the delete key and delete it all, but that's kind of laborious. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to kill the whole line? And there's a way to do that. The easy way to do that is with the control sequence Control K. If I type Control K, it deletes that line, all right, from where the cursor is to the end of the line. You might say, is there a way to get it back? And I would say, yes. When I deleted that line with Control K, it was placed into what was called the kill buffer. And the kill buffer, we can recover what's in the kill buffer by typing Control Y, and that yanks things back. Now let me illustrate some subtleties of this. Let's suppose I put the cursor right here. If I type Control K, it doesn't delete the whole line, it deletes everything to the right of the cursor. And if I space over a few spaces here and now do Control Y, it yanks back starting from where the cursor was when I typed Control Y. So it yanks back the contents of the kill buffer and places them starting where the cursor is. So I added some extra spaces by doing that. Let me just delete them here. Now, when I deleted here, let me type Control K again. I deleted the line, but I still have a blank line there. How could I get rid of that? Well, I can type Control K a second time. The first Control K kills all of the text between the cursor and the end of the line. The second Control K there kills the end of line marker, eliminating that line from the file. Now, what will happen if I type Control Y back? It will yank back that line, including the end of line marker, and insert a new line there. And I can yank back from the kill buffer as many times as I wish, and I can yank wherever I like, all right? I could yank that line a second time, and now I have that line repeated twice. Or I could move down here, and basically yank there, and insert that line down there. So this is a very convenient way when you want to rearrange text to do it. So let me give you an example. Let's get rid of these extra lines I have here. Suppose I want to take the implicit none here and move it down 4 lines. I just Control K twice to kill it, put it in the kill buffer, move down, and yank it back, and there it is. If I want to put it back up there, Control K twice, move up 3 lines, yank it back. Very easy to do. You got used to this most likely using something like Microsoft Word, where you learn Control X, Control V. These are the equivalents here. But easy mnemonic to remember: Control K for kill, Control Y for yank. Okay, now, what if I want to kill an entire region of text? There's a mechanism to do that within Emacs. It involves setting something called the mark. The mark is going to indicate the beginning of the region you want to kill. So what I'll do in order to set the mark is I'll place my cursor wherever I want to, on the line I want to begin to kill at, all right? I'll type Control and hit the space bar. And notice down in the mini buffer now it says mark activated. Now, when I move around by, let's say, typing Control N to go to the next line, what I'm doing is I'm selecting a region that I want to do something with. All right, in this case, I've selected 4 lines here. If I want to kill these 4 lines and put them into the kill buffer, right, I can type Control W. They're now gone. If I wish to recover them, all right, I can type Control Y. It yanks it back. And I can yank back from the kill buffer as many times as I want. Let me yank back here again, and yank back here again, or yank back, yank back, yank back, yank back. All right, and now I've got a much longer file. All right, and let me move around the file here. All right, so you can see I have more than one screen full of text. And that gets me to my next point. Remember I said we would come back to the mode line and there was the keyword all down there? Well, that all meant that the entire text of the file was displayed in the main buffer up here. All right. Now the file that I've created by killing that region and yanking it back a number of times has become so long it can no longer be displayed in the kill buffer. In the main buffer. All right. So let's move up to the beginning of the file. All right. If I move all the way up to the beginning of the file, now it says top here. It tells me I'm at the top of the file. If I move all the way down to the bottom, down here, it tells me I'm at the bottom. All right, so that's useful information. If I'm somewhere up here in an intermediate region, it tells me what fraction of the way through the file the cursor is located at. So right now it's at 39% through the file. All right, as I move down more, that fraction will increase down here. Now it says bottom. All right, so it tells you what fraction of the way through the file that you are. All right, so now with that information, we'll stop for now. We'll continue with this next time. Let me make sure I save my file. Let's always get into the good habit of saving your file. So I'll exit and do an ls, and you can see that I also, once again, have this backup version of the file, hello world.fo8 tilde here, which contains the previous version of things. So if I wish to delete that, I can delete it with the rm command. I can say rm star tilde, or not star, I'm sorry, hello world dot fo8 tilde, and then I can just delete it. All right, so we'll continue with this next time. In the next video, I'll put a link to that next video here in the upper right-hand corner. So see you here next time.